What's up, you guys? It's your boy Q, and welcome back to the channel. So today I've got something special for you guys. I'm actually going to give you guys underwater live footage of the different presentations, the different tactics that I use, and I'm going to show you exactly how I use them, what I set them up with as far as like the rod and reel combination, line and all that. I'm going to give you the whole shebang, alright? So, hope you enjoy. Let's get down to business. Alright, you guys, first up we have the Yum Crawl on the 3/16 ounce shaky head. This is my finesse package of this. I also do throw it on a football head. Hold on a second, let me see if I can find it. Here we go. This is more for like cover, so it's got that weed guard so that I can throw it in that deep cover or anything like that, or you know, if I'm next to logs or throwing it in the cover, this is what I'll throw there. But for a more subtle and a slower drop, I use this. Alright, you guys, so with this being a finesse setup, what I will throw this on, line wise, it'll be somewhere in between 8 to 12 pound fluorocarbon, and I'll set this up on a medium heavy rod. But right now what I'm doing, the retrieve that I'm doing, is I'm simply just dragging it across the bottom, making it look like, you know, the crawfish is crawling across the bottom. And this is good for really shallow areas, or if you're throwing it off the banks and you're crawling it away from the bank or along those rocky piles. This retrieve is really good for like wintertime when things are much more subtle. You don't have a lot of life in a lot of the forage. And if those bass just want, you know, a simple, easy meal. Alright, you guys, so with the next retrieve, basically what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to imitate or mimic the crawfish being in a harmful or threatened state. So when a crawfish feels threatened, what they do is they flash their claws at their prey to try and defend themselves. And what this relates to the bass is that they're in a defensive stance and they're very vulnerable. And it really does entice the bass to strike. All right, you guys, on to my favorite retrieve with this bait. It's really a warmer water retrieve. So as you see, I'm basically popping my rod twice and causing a real erratic, almost like a scurrying away motion that the crawfish is running from something, or it's really threatening, it's trying to get away. And 9 times out of 10, you're gonna get your strikes on the fall with this bait, all right? So when it pops, basically you're popping it to get that bass's attention. It's causing a reaction strike. And then once that bass sees that it's in its most vulnerable state, which is when it's dropping, that's when that bass is gonna hit. All right, you guys, so next up, as you see, we still have that shaky head set up on there. You can apply a lot of different baits onto a shaky head and pretty much do whatever you want with it. But I'm gonna show you how I work this straight tail worm. And then next, I'm gonna show you, it's still a straight tail worm, but it's just a different style of worm, all right? And tell you the difference in the two. You'll clearly be able to see the difference, but I'll tell you why I like to use one over the other in certain situations. You can never go wrong with a shaky head and a finesse worm or trick worm setup. For today's video, this is the original trick worm from Zoom, which is a really good bait to add on to put on a shaky head. But it's a all around year tactic, really. In the summertime, when those bass are not that active and they want a slower presentation, this is a great thing to throw. Or even in the wintertime when those fish are really lethargic and they don't want to move around a lot. With the shaky head, you can really spend a lot of time on a piece of structure and really entice those bass to strike. You want to get you a nice trick worm that has a lot of action in the tail. And I like to drag my shaky heads and just let that tail really do all the action. Instead of popping it too much, that tail is really gonna make those strikes happen. The biggest difference in this bait and the advantage that you have using the Squirrel Tail worm from Big Bites is that tail. That tail is very, very buoyant, and it's going to stay afloat no matter what. So if your worm is laying down on its side, that tail, you can see it, that tail is pointing straight up. And it really has a lot of action. You can really just drag this thing, and the slightest taps, that tail is going to wiggle, and it's going to draw that bass in and make that bass really curious, and really honestly force it to bite. I think Big Bites has one of the best shaky head worms in this Squirrel Tail bait right here. They did a really good job at making this a great shaky head setup. And last but not least, guys, we have the drop shot. Probably one of the most deadly techniques that catch fish when nothing else is catching fish. Anywhere that I go, I always have a drop shot set up. The reason being is because if that bite is real tough and you've thrown just about everything in your bag and you're not getting a fish, tie on a drop shot, and I guarantee you'll have much more luck than what you've been having. This is one of the easiest and simplest rigs that you can throw that pretty much produce fish anywhere. Now the retrieves vary when I throw the drop shot. It varies on the condition. So if if you've got lively fish, yeah, I'm gonna bounce that drop shot a little bit and give it some action, or pop it twice and make it fall just like I'm doing here, basically trying to imitate that fish is dying. But in the wintertime, or if those fish don't want a lot of action, just a simple drag or even just dead sticking a drop shot. When I say dead sticking, basically just holding it there and just leaving it there, or letting the bait flow with the current if you do have any current. Just like anything else, guys, you got to listen to the fish. The fish are going to tell you exactly what they want. Now, as far as my setup with drop shotting, honestly, guys, this is the only time that I really use spinning equipment. Ever since I was 12 years old, when I first learned how to throw a bait caster, I fell in love with bait casting, and that's really my preference. But I've found that when you're throwing a drop shot, it's best to throw spinning equipment. A couple of reasons: you don't have to worry about the backlashes. You can really get a nice cast out there. And it's a finesse style of fishing, so you can really work it much different with a spinning setup. Now, there are times where I have thrown it on a bait caster, but I only do that when I'm dealing with either heavier line or heavier structure. And as far as the line, I like to throw 10 to 20 pound Power Pro with about a 6-foot fluorocarbon leader. Anywhere between, I would say, 6 to 8 pound test, depending on the water clarity. But if you're not fishing really clear lakes, you can get away with a little bit heavier leader. Did y'all like that? I hope y'all enjoyed it, man. I don't mind doing stuff like that. I actually like doing stuff, videos like that, because it helps you all out, and it gives you a perspective from the bass's view. It gives you a bass perspective. I think that's, I think that's going to be the name of these type of videos, bass perspectives. But yeah, it really gives you an idea of what the bass see and how to better yourself, or how to better your tactics, better your presentation and everything like that. If you all like these type of videos, man, let me know in the comment section. Drop me a comment, let me know what you want to see, give it a thumbs up. Also subscribe to the channel. I'm gonna have a lot more videos coming out for you guys, but I need to go get something to eat because I feel like I'm about to faint. So I'll catch y'all next time. Deuces.